What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be talking about a company that ARK Invest cannot seem to stop buying. They have, at the current time, a $606 million position in this company. And this very specific Chinese company has come out with some massive news that they're going to be producing their own electric vehicle in the near future. So before we get into all of this information and we can go over this brand new company, make sure you guys go over and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button. It really helps me get this information out to as many people as possible, and you get to stay up to date on all of your favorite stocks, and you get to learn about a couple of new ones. So if you didn't already know, ARK is an actively traded firm, so they have a bunch of actively managed innovation ETFs led by Cathie Wood. Now, she is a very famous investor. She has been able to give the ETF investors some pretty incredible returns over the years. If we take a look at ARK, the innovation ETF over here, we can see that it started 2020 at around the $52 mark, went up a little bit to $59, and then during the crash, it did crash a pretty decent amount to the $34 range, but then it went on an absolute tear, and by the end of the year, it was trading at around $135, which is almost a triple in share price on the year. Now, that's pretty insane. Typically, the stock market usually gets between a 7 and 11% return. So if you are looking for some pretty aggressive ETFs, these ARK ETFs right here are going to be some really good options to add to your portfolio if you want to get all of the growth without actually having to actively manage your money yourself. Now, the company that ARK keeps buying and is going to be releasing their own electric vehicle in the near future is going to be Baidu, and that's going to be ticker symbol BIDU. Now, Baidu is kind of like the Google of China, which makes this a very interesting stock and a very interesting play for them to get into the EV market. The Chinese Google is extremely censored, and they must have some very close ties with the Chinese government, and I would even go to say that they are pretty much an extension of the Chinese government. They basically are controlling everything that their viewers see, what websites they can't go on, and what websites they can go on. So they are a pretty heavy tech company, and you can see today that they were up around 9%, and after hours, they were up about 1.9%. So this stock has been absolutely going crazy. We can see that in late November, it was trading for around $132, and then some rumors came out about its electric vehicles, and we can see that this is around the time that ARK started to enter their position, and it went from this $130 range almost all the way up to $240, which is getting close to a double in share price in a very short amount of time. So if we go over here and take a look at this article, we can see that Chinese internet giant Baidu has formed a strategic partnership with automaker Geely to create a standalone electric vehicle company. Now, China is giving a lot of subsidies to the electric vehicle companies right now. Now, since Baidu already has a very strong relationship with the Chinese government, I don't think it's going to be any problem for them to get funding or approval from the Chinese government since they already have such a tight relationship. We can also see down here that domestic electric automaker NIO, Ally, and XPeng Motors all reported a surge in deliveries for December, and Baidu is hoping to get in on some of the action, which is only fair. They really want to get in some of this electric vehicle business. It's really a great business model. A lot of the countries around the world today are trying to put a heavy emphasis on being environmentally friendly. With the Biden administration, I think we're going to see a lot of heavy emphasis on environmentally friendly tech. So Tesla could benefit off of that, and we may see some other electric vehicle companies pop up and receive a higher valuation. So if we go down and take a look at what this partnership is, we can see that Geely will be responsible for the actual manufacturing of the vehicles, and Baidu will focus on the software and technology in the car. Now, the search giant has already been testing its driverless car software named Apollo in robotaxi trials in Beijing. Now, NIO already has some robotaxi trials in Tel Aviv. They've partnered with Mobileye, so it's going to be very interesting to see which company can get their technology approved by the regulators and in the market the fastest. Now, there is something that we need to keep a lookout for as investors in Chinese companies traded on our exchanges. There have been some delisting threats of these Chinese companies that have played some short-term roles in some little decreases in share price in these companies. So last week, when we had some really tumultuous activity going on when the election was being certified, we saw that there were some rumors that lawmakers were considering a ban on Alibaba. Now, that turned out to be not true. They really didn't say that they were going to be doing this, but in the future, we really need to be taking a deep look at this. So we also saw a month ago that they signed a bill that said that they were going to delist the Chinese companies that are traded on our exchanges that do not follow our accounting standards. So basically what that means is that if a company cannot follow and abide by our accounting standards for 3 years in a row, then they will be delisted from our exchanges. But I really don't see this as being a big deal for all of these Chinese companies once we get into the Biden administration. Now, if we go over here, we can take a look at some of the buying behavior for ARK over the past week. Now, you can find all of this data for yourself on Lucid Tracking. Now, I'm not an affiliate of this website at all. I just like using it to kind of get a feel for what ARK is actually doing in their ETFs. So we can see today, as I'm recording this video, on January 12th, they bought in their ARK fund about $111 million. And in their ARKQ fund, they bought about $12 million. And in their ARKW fund, they bought $16 million. Now, today, the stock went up about 9%, and they're still buying. So if ARK is still buying at the highs up here, it's only safe to assume that their price target for this company is going to be significantly higher than the current price that it's trading at. If we can go back over here, we can see that the buying behavior over the last couple of months has been pretty substantial. So they started off their position with about 173,000 shares, and they've just been ramping it up. This right here, towards the end of the year, was when they really jumped up their position by about 700,000 shares, and they've just been steadily increasing their position all the way up to where it is now with about 2.5 million shares, totaling about $606 million betting on this company. Now, what should we do as investors for Baidu, even though it's run up so much? Now, we could sell some cash secured puts. If we go over to the option chain, we can come over here. If you want to buy Baidu at a lower price, this is the January 15th expiration date. You can sell the $220 put and collect about $180 in premium if you are okay with buying Baidu, 100 shares of Baidu at a price of $220. Or you could just bite the bullet and buy the shares at the highs. That's also a good option. Now, ARK is still buying at these highs, so if they're buying at the really high mark of the stock so far, I think it's safe to buy the stock. I'm going to see if I can get into a position at a slightly better price, and it's going to be really interesting to see over the next couple of months how Baidu's news about their electric vehicles coming out, when they're going to be coming out, and how this is going to affect the other electric vehicle companies in China like NIO, LI Auto, and XPEV. That's going to be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed what I had for you in this one, please go down and hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.